Addison Armstrong, and this is my informative speech. Anxiety is inevitable. At some point in your life, I'm sure you have experienced extreme amounts of sweat pooling in your shirt while you're taking a test in a cold classroom, or you have felt an indescribable amount of fear in correlation to something that wouldn't otherwise make you so nervous. A lot of people would be shocked to understand that something as simple as mindfulness can alleviate these symptoms of anxiety. I personally have experienced anxiety in my life, and I have also used mindfulness to successfully better my situation. So throughout this discussion, I will highlight the life-changing benefits of mindfulness that will improve experiences of stress or anxiety, which has been so prevalent in our society currently. First, I will highlight the principles of mindfulness and ways people participate in the state of awareness. I will go on to describe its correlation to anxiety and how they balance each other out. Finally, the importance of mindfulness in society as a whole will be addressed. So, although many people are unaware of the practice, mindfulness is not as complicated as it seems. Finding yourself in a mindful state may be the only complicated task of the straightforward exercises. In their article titled Self-Administered Mindfulness Interventions, Reduce Stress in a Large Randomized Controlled Multi-Site Study, published by Nature Human Behavior in 2024, Alessandro Spiracchio and others stated that mindfulness meditation is defined as paying attention in a particular way, on purpose, in the present moment, and non-judgmentally. It thus emphasizes attention to the present moment, with awareness of one's bodily sensations or one's mental content, such as thoughts, emotions, and memories. End quote. In theory, mindfulness seems extremely simple and affordable for people who are looking for a quick and actually effective way to reduce their anxiety or allow them the needed relaxation. But it can be difficult to enter this state of mind as we are naturally judgmental as humans. Learning and practicing to let go of all the stressors and judgmental thoughts can be so beneficial and cohesive to being a functioning person. It's also imperative to highlight the awareness of sensations and feelings that we experience. Whether they are negative or positive, they should be recognized, and mindfulness is the healthiest way for them to be addressed. There are also several ways that people go about mindfulness. For example, going for a walk or even simply breathing can be mindful if you decide to consider all the factors of the activity you are performing. Another article published by Scientific Reports on July 1st, 2024, entitled Prevalence and 20-Year Trends in Meditation, Yoga, Guided Imagery, and Progressive Relaxation used among U.S. adults from 2002 to 2022 stated that in 2022, meditation was the most prevalent practice in the U.S. adult population. Population prevalence, 18.3%, followed closely by yoga, 16.8%, with guided imagery, progressive relaxation, 6.7%. Across the 20-year period from 2002 to 2022, the population prevalence of all three practices increased. This article topic is prevalent to mindfulness because a lot of these practices overlap with the idea of being in a state of mind free of judgment. The increase of these activities provides the idea that we are progressing beyond the limitations of therapy previously constructed when mental illness was not addressed. Since lives are changing and people are becoming busier, this allows for anxiety and stress to harbor in our minds and bodies. Now is such an important time that we address stress and angst before they corrupt the harmonious and loving society that we have. Mindfulness abilities can be an extremely useful tool in coping with anxiety. It can have a strong influence on the value of treatment. Multidisciplinary Digital Publishing Institute's article, Mindfulness Abilities Are Associated with Anxiety Levels, Emotional Intelligence, and Perceived Self-Efficacy, published in January 2023, talks about their study findings and states, our results showed a lower level of anxiety among university students with higher levels of mindfulness and vice versa. They also stated previously that research reports anxiety, emotional intelligence, and perceived self-efficacy as relevant constructs in psychological and social well-being. This study is very beneficial in understanding the role of becoming a being that is more aware, not only of their surroundings, but of their own individual feelings. Anxiety has such an effect on the various ways we conduct ourselves. For example, some people are just naturally anxious, and it is a part of their personality, and having this kind of treatment can change the lives of a lot of people who may not even know about the benefits. I personally was not familiar with mindfulness until I personally went to therapy, and I was taught ways to cope with my anxiety. I think it could be very beneficial to many other people without them having to pay a price. Practicing mindfulness before it gets to a point where your social self and psychological self are damaged could be a lifesaver. And it is just extremely important to be treated. Now that we are aware of the benefits of mindfulness and the potential harm that can come from ignoring ourselves, body and mind, it is advantageous to continue participating in actions that promote self-awareness of the self. Society thrives off of individuals being happy and healthy. Stressors can be detrimental not only to the individual, but also to those close to them. Struggles with anxiety can bring people down to a low point where they may feel like they are stuck with no way out of their own mind. Fortunately, mindfulness as well as other therapeutic remedies can help this stuck feeling. Even without anxiety, it is great to find a state of mind that helps cope with all the human emotions we may experience. Hopefully, this speech has influenced you to at least try practices that create a mindful headspace or conduct your day-to-day activities while being aware internally and externally. Thank you.